Welcome to the EST Hangout.
This is the EST Hangout, and today's guests are...
A good Monday morning to you. Welcome to the EST Hangout, presented by Two Hoots Hard Iced Tea. Don't give a hoot, give two. You can mute that computer there, Jay. We're live at Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge just off of Fort Road, which will be the home for the Green and Gold kickoff post-game shows that will be starting on Saturday. Game going to be at 2 o'clock, so we'll be on at 1 o'clock because something happened last night where the Edmonton Oilers apparently are moving on to a series that matters, the Stanley Cup. Lots to get to on the Hangout today. Iwanyk, Jay Milne, Dean Belanger with us. I had everything set to go here at Century, and then about 5 minutes before, my board won't connect to the computer anymore. So I only have one microphone working right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys the microphone right away. You two could talk a lot about the Edmonton Oilers. Your thoughts always welcome. 780-218-9999. That is the Paris Jewelers inbox. You could jump in the nasty chat, and then I'll try to get a second and third mic going, so you two could each have a mic and don't have to share one. And I know maybe some people don't want to hear me, but then I could have a mic and speak as well, which would be kind of important. So I'll get that working. A reminder on the show today, we do have a qualifying opportunity for the $100,000 hole-in-one presented by Golf Town. That will take place July 3rd at the Ranch Golf and Country Club. We've got a qualifying opportunity for the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival, VIP table for the July 13th show with Kevin Hart, Alley Cat, the official beer of the Great Outdoors Comedy Fest. Okay, boys, so what did you think about the Oilers moving on to Stanley Cup Final? Here you go.
Sir? Well, how are our levels here, Maddie, if we just go like this?
Try it.
Hello.
Dean, hello.
Mic check live.
We can share it. But, well, I mean, it's a good thing that the McDavid line showed up. I would say that off the top because I don't know what they ended up with as total shots, but it was probably low teens, mid-teens to a much larger number for Dallas. So that was a little bit concerning, but it is the way that I guess they've played this series. But I mean that. Let's start early. That goal by Connor McDavid, 4 or 5 minutes into the game. I mean, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, I mean, add that to his top 10 list of all-time goals, right? But to do it on that stage at that moment is incredible. One of the nicest goals I've ever seen in a round 3 game for sure. And he's got more. Like, he will do that again in the coming week. Like, for sure he will.
Well, it was interesting listening to Rashog on the morning show this morning when he did his hit, and he was mentioning how, we may even see another level of Connor McDavid going into the finals, whereas it's not necessarily the Connor that Oilers fans are used to seeing, where he's just dominant, but he's going to have to find a new way to be constantly dominant, because in a series like this where you've now reached the pinnacle. Mm-hmm. You're playing the best team in the Eastern Conference in the Florida Panthers. You're going to have to find new ways to get around them creating a book on you, right? Because now they've seen enough. Everybody know, and that's the thing. That is the contrary point to that is that the Florida Panthers and the Oilers play once a year?
Twice a year.
Twice a year.
Yeah, twice a year.
2-0 Panthers.
2-0 Panthers.
Perfect. That's what the Oilers need.
Yeah, sure. That at this point, Mr. Lean, you would say that's irrelevant anyways, as it was regular season, I believe, right?
They were regular season.
Okay.
It was one of the games was in that stretch where they were picking it back up again, though.
Okay.
Think of that as whatever you will.
And Barkov historically always plays the Oilers well, right? So he's a handful. But I agree with you. I've never seen that complete a McDavid game before. Both sides of the ice, right? The old he has to be the Steve Yzerman 200-foot game. He played that last night. It was incredible.
Well, and you look at, I think it's easy to point to McDavid, but coming into this series, it was a question still. Is Stu Skinner the guy Is Stu Skinner the guy that's going to be able to take you to a Western Conference championship? And he averaged well over 900 save percentage throughout this whole series.
Yeah.
So
And
that
his
answers that
last
question.
4 games or 3 games, the numbers are off the charts. Like, way better
Ridiculous.
than on
He only had one game this series where he's sub 900. So can Stu Skinner win you a Stanley Cup? Yes. Is he going to be, I forget who it was, I think it was Gager that said Stu Skinner needs to be the Conn Smythe winner in order for the Oilers
He
to
needs
win.
to be in contention for the Conn Smythe.
Contention. I don't think
Okay.
he needs to be the winner, but I agree. You
I mean,
need
that's
great
kind of a
goaltending.
silly statement then.
Yeah.
If
No, like
contention, everybody's in
I
contention.
think I might have the mics working.
Oh.
Okay, so give me a second here. I'm going to bring this one over. My mic should stop. Your guys' mic should be working.
Does this work?
There we go. Okay, this one. Okay, I got you. You guys go back to the. Well, actually, go in that one.
Hello?
No, okay, you go back. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
No problem. Maddie, you're the best. I would be losing my mind trying to do what you're doing right now.
Well, apparently he's not the best.
Well, okay. He's trying to be the best. He's trying to be the best.
Let's not give him all the roses right now. Jesus.
So you're talking about goaltending, and I've said this to a couple of people. I've seen Sergei Bobrovsky be the best goalie on the planet, bar none. Like, everyone would want him on your team, which is why he got such a massive deal.
Yeah.
I've also seen him where it's like they might put him on waivers, right? Skinner's no different. Like, he was really good against LA. He was against Vancouver until he figured it out, right? I think he was really good against Dallas overall, like enough for them to win. I don't think there's a big, huge difference in goaltending in the next series. Either one could lose it for their team. Either one could really, really stand on their head and be, as you said, Conn Smythe Trophy candidate. But I think there is only one personal trophy that McDavid cared about winning this year, and I think it's the Conn Smythe. And I think he will do enough in round 4 to try to win that. Because right now, if you're giving it out, I think it's Bouchard.
Matt, they're saying that the
Yeah.
audio stream is just music.
Yeah, on it.
On it. Brett Ski.
Well, some people won't know, but
If you're just watching the YouTube, you wouldn't know.
well, if you're on the audio stream, you won't know that I'm on it.
Edmonton
There we go.
Sports.
We're back.
Edmonton Sports Sign Language, it's called. Edmonton Sport Talk for Minds. Edmonton Sports Talk, more like Edmonton Sports No Talk.
Those are clever. Well
Those are
done.
good. Yeah, well done.
Well done.
Touche. Touche.
I don't know how I like. Do I come across on this microphone? And I'm just gonna throw that out there to the nasty chat. I'm this far away. Can you hear me?
I think you come across if the microphone's in the bathroom. You're pretty loud.
I'm no Dusty.
No, Dusty, you can hear from the parking lot if you've ever gone to the EST offices.
Yeah, you walk up those stairs, you could.
Yeah,
You can hear him.
He's a big baritone boy. He brings it for sure.
We'll get you an update here, Matt.
Oh, that's fine. I'm watching.
Audio is great.
So I could.
We
Kind
can,
Of,
we can, yeah. Okay.
So I could be part of
All
this.
right, well,
while,
then why?
well,
No.
I can do it while I'm working.
No, let's keep him out. No, just kidding.
Well, this works because I could do what I need to do here, and people could still hear me when I could chime in as if I'm like
Sure.
just on the outside. It's like I'm a list, like just.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like we're having a little bit of like a campfire talk,
Sure.
you know?
Well, that's how they go, right? You sit there, you wait to get your point, and then you yell over your friends, and then you forget what you wanted to say, and then it's all good. We'll all just hang out.
Caster says he can barely hear any of us on YouTube.
Did you
Everyone's saying the audio's fine,
hear? Okay.
and then saying the little echo but passable. The echo's me, obviously, in that. So
Yeah.
it all works. You guys are sounding great, and that's what the listeners want.
All right.
They don't need me. But I will say this about the Oilers game yesterday. One, actually, I have a Murray McCourt message that he wants me to pass out there quickly because he can't be on the Hangout today. He's actually in an event. But he goes, if anyone's chirps Skinner ever again, I am fighting. They were garbage tonight. Stu bleeping Skinner won the game. He
That's
was
fair.
great. He was fantastic. I will say, I also though, like as much as the Oilers were dealing with a lot of shots from the Stars and the Stars had a lot of pressure, I felt like the Oilers actually played a really good defensive game though in front of Skinner to just the shots were mostly from the outside. They kept the Stars to the walls, and that even though the shots went up, I think they favored Dallas a little too much. They just because I don't think there were any grade A shots that the Stars were getting because the Oilers were actually playing so well defensively that they didn't have to go and push down
They
the
were.
ice. I feel like they just the net and just in front, like imagine like in soccer the box type thing, but not the crease, but a little more outside of the net. I think the Oilers shut that down so well, and that's what led them to go win that hockey game. They didn't need to go do more.
It was similar to the LA series. I thought like they kept them outside in
Yes.
yeah,
Or
very
like
much
when
so.
the Oilers lost to the Jets a couple years ago, they got shots on Hellebuck, but it was all from the outside. The Oilers did a great job of just keeping the Stars to the outside. I don't care that they got their chances. They weren't great chances.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although to that point, I watched a lot of the post-game coverage last night, and I think it might have been Rashog who asked Leon and Connor about Skinner, and then said something about, you gave up a ton of shots, but there wasn't much high danger or high quality. And Connor and Leon both looked at each other and started laughing. So I don't know if they didn't agree with that or what happened, but yeah, I mean, looking at it, it didn't seem like they were really in danger, although I think everyone is probably stress watching, but
Stars had a couple really good shots in the third that they just couldn't take advantage of. I think I know that like as they were picking it on after they scored, there's a few moments I think they'll be looking back on today going, that's where we had a chance.
If it's a last game for Pavelski, that's a tough last game, right? He had a lot of good scoring
He
chances.
had like 2 or 3 great
and
chances.
Father Time, right? Undefeated. He comes for everybody, but I would feel bad for a guy like him if that's the last game he played, because that must be just gut wrenching. But
the Oilers made on their run to 06. They were the last game Steve Yzerman played. Game 6. He was on the bench even. They didn't even throw him over the boards. He was on the bench Game 6 in Edmonton when they knocked out the Red Wings, and Steve Yzerman never played another game.
Interesting.
Oilers on the run to Stanley Cup playoffs killed careers.
Okay, hot take. So it was 10 shots last night the Oilers got, which is the lowest amount ever, I think, for a winning team in a Stanley Cup game.
And that seems to be the trend throughout the playoffs. Is they're getting grossly outshot by their opponent, and then these third periods are grab somebody and hang on. Mm-hmm. We were watching it again last night at my house, and we're going through our renovation on our main floor, so my buddy Murph's over. My mother-in-law's living with us, and we were all watching. My mother-in-law said, again, a very astute comment for somebody that's not a traditional hockey fan was, why are they just dumping it out?
Right.
Why aren't they still trying to play hockey?
Right.
Great point.
Well, absolutely great point.
But there is something to be said about the level of, how games progress and how the momentum shifts. Particularly in a third period of a Game 6 where it's do or die for the Dallas Stars, they clearly had the momentum, and that's something that is hard to compete with. Mm-hmm. But going through those experiences like they did this in the Kings series too, and Vancouver. I think the more you deal with those, the more you know how to get through it, like they did last night, and come out with the win. So it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
You're giving a lot of people, Zantac stock must be going through the roof because the heartburn that's going on right now must be incredible. But they didn't blow it.
Yeah.
Ultimately, they still won.
They've learned how to play those games, right? Nobody goes into a game expecting it to be 8-6. No one expects the kind of game that the Oilers played last night. But like you heard Ekholm, he's like, yeah, but that's sometimes the way it happens, and you just learn to deal with it. Like Dallas was a wounded animal playing for their playoff lives, and they played their best game of the series. You have to give some, like my father-in-law said this to me at dinner the other night. The other team has a bit of a say in what's happening as well. They're good. They're trying to win, right? So you can't just say, well, the Oilers didn't dictate the pace. Well, yeah, they didn't, but Dallas is a better road team than they are a home team. Edmonton dictated the pace in Game 5. They dominated that game.
Yeah.
Right? So you can't just criticize and not give credit, which is why, and I don't want to go on a Nurse tangent, but that's what, like everything Darnell Nurse does wrong, people point out. But then he plays a game like he played last night where he blocked a good amount of shots, really good positionally. But nobody said boo about it, right? Because they just expect it because he makes 9.5 or whatever he makes.
9.25.
9.25,
We
right?
all are supposed to know that just perfectly.
The one thing I've tried to do as a fan in the last couple of years is really not get as emotional and try to look at it a little bit more analytical. And it's actually, like, I've had a couple bad moments, my wife would attest to that, these playoffs. But for the most part, I've been just like, hey, it's hockey. There's swings, there's momentum, there's back and forth. At the end of the day, the Oilers had the 2 best players in the world last night. One of them showed up. I don't think Dry had a great game last night. And he won the game. And Skinner, like, you got goaltending, right? There we go.
Was the turning point of the series when Nurse did his thing to the media?
I think so.
Like, they had a bad first 5 minutes to start. The goal goes off Nurse, gets past Skinner. But in the end, then since that moment, this team went 3-0 against the Stars. And it feels like the team maybe have rallied around Darnell Nurse coming out and going, screw you to everyone.
And I think the goal differential was like 9-2 from that point on.
Yeah, and when the Stars scored, it didn't, like, game 5, I guess it would have been, didn't really matter.
Yeah.
Like, it was the game was in hand for the Edmonton Oilers.
100%.
Like, it's like the Oilers just completely rolled, basically, from that, you know, when they fell down 2-0. But, like, it was because of Nurse's comments and then the fact that it went off Nurse.
Yeah.
And then it's just like the team changed at that moment, and they took over this series.
Sorry, Jared, you were going to...
Well, no, I was just going to say there's 230 people watching this live right now.
Yeah.
If you're watching it and you like this, even though it's a pared down process here from what
We're down to one mic.
down to one mic.
I've got 5 here,
old
but we
school.
can only use 1.
If you like the campfire version of the EST
Yes.
Hangout,
Yeah.
go ahead and click the like button.
Live at Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, just off Fort Road.
Presented by 2 Hoots. Don't give 1 hoot, give 2.
Don't
like
just
Maddie.
give a hoot, give 2.
Home of Renee.
Yeah, Renee's
What else do we got? There's a big. The reason we're here is that the Elks have an event that I'll be emceeing later. Draft an elk with a bunch of their sponsors. So, and then it's just a preview for you and I, Jay. As next Saturday we'll be here for the Green and Gold kickoff post-game shows.
Guns of fire
And
live bullets, baby.
And you're starting...
And we're
3
starting at 2 now.
Yeah, you're starting...
Well,
early.
we're starting at 1.
We're
The game
starting
starts
at 1.
at 2.
Game
Yeah.
starts
Yeah,
at 2.
we're not going to do a pregame show as they're on the field.
They,
Otherwise, we're going to have be the best experts.
You know, you don't have to be a dick, Matt. Okay.
Well, I'm just saying we would be the best experts because we'd be able to say what's happening.
Generally right. Directionally correct, I believe is what they say. The game starts at 2. We'll be on
Yes.
at 1.
Yes.
And they did a favor to Edmonton sports fans by immediately moving the game to start at 2
Well, they had to.
instead of at 5, I think, or 6. What was it originally? 6?
It was 6 o'clock with Stanley Cup. Elks was supposed to be at 5. It will now be at 2. So just a quick programming note for 1260, or not 1260, EST.
Oh,
sorry.
that's fine.
I'm used to. I haven't done a green and gold away from 1260. We will have the green and gold kickoff show live on EST on YouTube, iHeart, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, TuneIn Radio. I think I've got everything there at 1 o'clock. We will have a post-game show only on YouTube because when the game ends, that would be about 5 o'clock. Tommy will already be on the air at 4:30 with the GCL Diesel pregame show on iHeart, on TuneIn, on EdmontonSportsTalk.com, as well as on YouTube. We won't interrupt the audio stream of that, but you can do 2 YouTube videos, I believe. So we will be on YouTube for the postgame show. But anyone listening on the audio stream on Saturday, they will have Tommy's pregame show as the Oilers get set for that first game
Is that because
in the
Tommy's
Stanley Cup.
prettier than you?
It's because it's the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah,
but thanks.
maybe.
One, I can't get the mics working. Now you're telling me
I did not
you're not
say
lying.
you were unattractive. I said you're not as pretty as Tommy.
I already know that, Dean. Thanks for telling me.
I think everyone knows that, but that's okay.
And Big Maple, no, there are no gray horses running right now because They turn the horses off here.
Yeah.
They're setting up for the event tonight or this afternoon. And what's funny about that is, as Renee was changing the TVs, it's like, no horse races? Jay's going to be upset. First thing you saw when you came here was...
And it's like, usually we can find some Australian tracks or something going.
And then you bet on the gray.
Always.
Jay,
So-
Jay,
ahead.
did you watch any of the Florida Rangers series?
Yep.
Okay, so
Yeah, I did actually.
Did Florida shut the Ranger power play down? And I did not watch, and that's why I'm asking. Because the Rangers, to me, were the only other team I would have in the same conversation with the Oilers as far as a lethal power play, right? The Rangers power play was frightening up into that Panthers series. So I was just wondering, like, did they shut that down?
Well, I watched the last 2 games after Florida went up. Florida tied it up, then went up, and then they ended up winning it at home, right? It seemed to me like they were more in control 5-on-5.
Okay.
Like they pushed the pace of play, and it was seemed like a gritty team, Florida. And I mean, you got to think, like, they've got, Turtle Boy Tkachuk, they've got Sam Bennett. They've got some grit on that side, right?
Yeah.
Now, I think it is hilarious that Tkachuk went from Calgary all the way to Florida, probably just to get away from having to play Edmonton.
Got away from Vander Kane.
Seriously, get away from Kane.
Yeah.
Get away from the embarrassment that was the Turtle incident. And now it's come full circle.
Yeah.
You're back.
Yeah, history is a funny way of making things like this happen in sports. But on that point, the Oilers need a somewhat healthy Kane because 2 years ago, was it 2 years or 3 years ago against Calgary? Two. He completely shut Tkachuk down that series. Completely. I don't know if he can do that if he's not healthy because he can't skate
obviously,
like he normally does.
Nobody's healthy at this point in the playoffs. But
No.
Is there any? Have you heard what happened? Because Kane left the bench for a period of time.
They didn't say. I sent a text to one of my friends. I might have been on my my Wolfpack team chat. That I think they were pushing his intestines back into his stomach because he's got the sports hernia, right?
Right.
And when you watch the replay of the hit,
Yeah,
he
he
kind of
extends,
lifted up
yeah,
and
yeah.
extended up, and he might have
a good
really
point.
aggravated it. So, but like after that, he couldn't even skate. Like he was really short, choppy skating. So, they have 6 days off. So hopefully he can get somewhat healthy again, and he could really, really impact that series.
Well, good news. Matthew Tkachuk is in on the nasty chat. He said, "I left because Calgary sucks. You know this to be true.
That's true.
Kane sucks too."
Yeah, but Calgary sucks because the Oilers are dominating Calgary. That was they sent Gaudreau and Tkachuk running away, and they destroyed Calgary. And also they destroyed Markstrom.
Yeah, they broke.
Like they destroyed
They did.
the Calgary Flames in that series.
And that's what they're going to do to
Straight up.
Bobrovsky.
Goalie
Just call him
Bob.
Bob.
Yeah, goalie
That's
Bob.
what I think, and that's what you alluded to earlier. Is there is the potential of, holy smokes, this is Bobrovsky. God, that's a hard name to say. One of the best, most talented goalies in the NHL over an extended period of time. Is this the team that can get to him, and that can?
He was not their playoff starter last year in the first round, right? He was an emergency throw him in because they were down 3-1 to Boston, if I remember correctly, right? And then goalie Bob came in, got hot, took him to the finals. There you go. And he's had a really good year. But you're right. If the Oilers can move the puck around on that power play, they might only get 1-2 chances a game, unfortunately. But although, as I say that, Florida, to me, plays a lot like Vancouver does. They're just a little bit more talented, right? So they're big. They run around. They hit a lot. Someone was saying this morning in the nasty chat, couple of stupid hits or stupid plays by Florida, and the Oilers score a power play goal, they'll stop that pretty quickly. Like that's how you neuter that style of play, right? Is just crush them with your power play.
Neuter. I like that word.
It works.
It's a highfalutin word.
How you doing, Maddie?
I'm trying something.
Okay.
I'm trying something.
No sweat on your brow. This is impressive.
Well, I realized I learned, I think, what the issue is, which is a driver failure that happened on our computer, which I would have to fix, which would require a restart. And also, I don't want to unplug one thing. I want to try one USB cable, but I can't unplug that because it has the camera in, and I don't want to touch the camera right now because that's the one thing working.
I was gonna say driver failure, but I wanted you to figure it out first.
Well, appreciate that.
Baby steps.
Yeah.
Because, what if this happens during the Elks pre and post, right?
It's a great question.
Kickoff show?
Yeah, sure.
Would hate for that. I'm just here to support you to finally find out why this is happening. Yeah. And actually, people have been surprisingly nice to you on the Nasty Chat. I'm not sure why. Maybe they're still...
Because they're hearing from you two, and they don't have to hear from me. Like,
That's
that's the
true.
thing.
That's true.
They get less Iwanyk today, so why would they be upset?
I've been that listener, Matt. I can't say that you're wrong.
Caster 1990, yes, it is rescheduled officially to start. This is the Elks game.
Well, this is what we're here. Like, I think Morley Scott had that.
Okay.
I haven't heard. We haven't got anything official from the Elks. I do know that the Elks are. There are plans to do it.
They're not
It will be
idiots.
announced at some point today.
They have to.
But Morley Scott, I think, was the first. I know Eric had put that out there. He clearly would know who to
Can
talk
you
to.
imagine the home opener? And it's an important season for the Elks, right? Business-wise, like everything. Like they need a complete revamp. They need to win. Can you imagine starting the first game and there's 5,000 people in Commonwealth at best? And I don't even know who those 5,000 people would be. Like, yeah, there's a Stanley Cup Final game being played later.
Hang on. Let me tell you what you're going to do. They're going to reschedule this to 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
You're going to wake up Saturday. You're going to take it easy on Friday night. You're going to wake up Saturday morning. Maybe an omelet with some cantaloupe and watermelon on the side. A real nice, crisp, refreshing breakfast. Maybe an espresso. Maybe an Americano. I'm not sure. Then what you're going to do is you're going to head down to Century Casino, where you'll see Matt and I here at 1 o'clock. We're going to be doing the Elks kickoff show.
We'll be yelling at each other.
We're going to be yelling at each other, talking about McLeod Bethel Thompson versus Trey Ford, yada, yada, yada.
Not that. How much Chris Jones hasn't done the best.
Yada, yada, yada. Then what you're going to do is you're going to hop on the LRT. You're going to go down to the Elks game at Commonwealth. You're going to watch the Elks win and come out victorious against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Then you're going to come back here and you're going to laugh at Matty because he doesn't like the Elks. He's a detractor, actually. You're going to laugh at him. Once you laugh at him, you're going to hop back on that LRT and head downtown. Go to the Moss Pit. You're going to buy yourself or bring yourself a few 6 o'clocker lagers to drink responsibly, unlegally maybe. I don't know. It's up to you.
Did you say unlegally?
Unlawfully?
Oh, okay. No. Just asking.
That's what your Saturday is going to look like. You heard it here first. Do it. It's one of the greatest days that is available to Edmonton sports fans.
Your plan
is
is
back-to-back.
Your plan is almost perfect. The
Elks Oilers.
I would encourage them to get here earlier and have their brunch here. Let Renee make it for you. Watch the ponies.
Watch the ponies. We should ask Renee what her go-to breakfast is.
What's your guys' go-to breakfast?
I don't eat breakfast.
Okay, well, I'm with you, so I don't. I'm like, Jay, what's your go-to breakfast?
Generally a coffee.
You got two people who don't drink or eat breakfast. What's your go-to?
I don't eat breakfast much either, but if I am,
we're useless.
No, it's a simple over easy egg. Get a little salt and pep on that egg. Nice piece of sourdough, toasted with butter. As you know, over easy refers to a soft yolk or a fluid yolk.
If it's done properly.
If it's done properly. Crack that yolk with the sourdough.
That's
Dip
good.
the sourdough in there. Maybe a slice of tomato on the side with extra salt and pepper on that. I'm a simple man.
I will say this. Weekends, brunch, always BLTs in our household. Big BLT guy. So there you go, Matt.
VR, I'm still waiting to hear the details from Hudson's about round 4.
Round 4.
So I don't know if he'll be on Bourbon Street or not.
Bourbon Street.
Bourbon Street.
I think I have an idea, so I might have figured out a back way to figure this out. So
Yeah, like honestly, margarine?
it's only been 40
Who
minutes.
eats margarine anyways? Do you?
Margarine's great.
I have margarine in the fridge, but I have butter in the fridge. So it depends on.
We're a
when I'm
butter fan.
I got both.
Why?
Margarine.
Choose a side. Oh yeah, wait. This is you. Of course you'd have butter and margarine.
No,
You probably have Coke Zero and real Coke in your fridge too.
I don't have any pop.
Of course.
Just alcohol. Just a lot of alcohol.
No
That's
pop.
about it.
No problem.
Although I did have 2 pops at the Oilers game last night. I haven't had pop in a long time, so I could crush 2.
Up in the PB?
Swanky press box pops.
They're just canned.
Oh, yeah.
The press box used to be a lot better. This year they've taken a step back.
Well, so we were talking about it before
First world problems, Matty.
we came on air, and you're of the belief that there will be no watch party at Commonwealth.
I think, yeah, I don't know. I won't go fully where I want with that one.
Right.
I could see that that's a lot to want. Like, you have to have extra security there and police or whatever, and they're going to be busy with a lot of other things, so I could see that they would just want everyone clear. Get to Moss Pit, get to the fan park, go to a bar, go home, go find some other place, and you get a lot of time. You got an hour to go do that.
Yeah, it would be easy to blame the Oilers if it doesn't happen for this, but I think if you look at it, you need the rights to show the game on the screen, right? In a public setting like that. And CFL is a TSN entity, and Sportsnet has the rights for the finals. I can't see them just saying, oh yeah, go ahead, have your own little party. I mean, it would be amazing if they could. It would probably be a super fun watch party if they would allow it.
I'm just
They're
thinking,
not.
like, logistically, it would be kind of, it wouldn't be a great seat, to watch it at Commonwealth.
No, you're far away from
You know.
everything, right?
Unless they immediately set up a bunch of chairs on the field, but logistically, that's just not possible.
That's not going to happen.
So, I don't know.
The fact that they moved the game up early, though, is good. I mean, growing up in Winnipeg, there was nothing more fun than when the Bombers and Jets played on the same day.
Yeah.
And they were on the same parking lot, right? Like, you could walk across to the other one. So we'd go to the football game in the morning, freeze because it's late in the year, then go to Chi-Chi's Mexican Restaurante.
Ooh.
And go to Chi-Chi's, watch the pre- and post-game shows, and then go watch the Jets game. And that, to me, was the greatest sports day of the year on the calendar. And we don't get a lot of opportunities anymore in Edmonton to have both playing at the same time, right? So,
It's going to be just a great sports day for that. Okay, let's look to this Cup final a little bit more.
okay.
I think the Oilers go in as the underdogs, as they should. I don't think anyone should look negatively on that. The Panthers did have overall the better regular season, and now I know since the coaching change, the Oilers are a better hockey team record-wise. But I think the Panthers, they deserve their credit. They were there last year.
Yep.
But where are you guys feeling about where the Oilers go matching up against the Panthers?
I think it would be wrong to put the Oilers as a heavy underdog or to underestimate them just from, everyone said that going into Dallas. I think that fueled them. So I think they'd be happy being considered the underdog because, teams hate that. Like they finished with 104 points. Florida finished with 110. Like they're really neck and neck close, but all that talk about how dominant Dallas was and how great Dallas was and how much better their goalie was and how great their top 3D were. The Oilers just like, screw you, right? And they handled them a lot easier than I thought they were going to. So I think it's going to be a neck and neck series. I can't tell you that today sitting here, oh yeah, the Oilers are going to beat them, no problem. But I don't think the Florida Panthers are going to beat the Oilers easily, no problem. It's going 6 or 7. I think it's going to be a great series. And it's the old cliche, but whoever gets the better goaltending is going to win. And the Oilers have the best 2 players.
I'm known as not having the prediction,
I know.
but I did say this these last 2 rounds, and I stand by it. I don't see how Connor and Leon don't win this Stanley Cup now. I don't see how
You
they
said
get
that last week. You said that.
And I said that, and actually, it was on with Huss in the second
So
round.
is this an
and I said
official prediction?
I'm not going to say the official.
Or maybe
prediction.
don't, because-
No. You want me to jinx?
Right.
I'm sticking with this. That I don't see how Connor and Leon don't win this cup because now they see they're 4 wins away. They're 4 wins away, and not.
Yeah, you're
this
so
isn't-
close.
This isn't about just the team. This isn't about
It's their legacy.
This is legacy we're talking about here.
Yeah.
This is Connor wants to go down as Will he go down as the greatest? I don't think he's going to be able to catch Gretzky. But he's going to go down as the most talented player. But you want to be known as better than Crosby, you need at least a ring.
Yes.
You know, you want to elevate yourself and put yourself above others. You need to hoist that cup at least once. And even for Leon, like it's a legacy thing. And it's not just personal legacy nationally, but even like you're doing it with the Edmonton Oilers.
Mm-hmm.
Who did you carry the torch from? Who lasted it for this team? It was Gretzky. It was Messier. It was Curry. It was Coffey. It was Fuhrer. You could be that too. Like, there's something special about winning it with the Oilers. There's not a lot of franchises I think that can say that, and that's I don't think a homer thing.
Them, Pittsburgh, Montreal.
That's the thing. Like, and I don't think it's a homer thing. There's just certain franchises that have won with like. We're not going to look at the Lightning, and they've got great players, but they're not in that echelon, right? Of maybe long term down the line.
They could get there, but they're not there now.
But they're not there now. The Oilers are with their history, even though a lot of that history in the 90s and the 2000s, and the 10s, they weren't that good. But because of the 80s, like, there's a reason we always keep talking about those 80s teams, right? That I think for legacy, I don't see how Connor and Leon don't just go all out and take these 4 wins because of legacy.
I can't say you're wrong. I really can't. I might have said this to you the last time on the Hangout. I'll say, Jay, like, name me a generational player that didn't win the Stanley Cup.
The top ones, like Joe Thornton's up there.
He's not generational.
I know, but these are the best ones. Lindros would be there.
That's the guy I would argue. He could have been, but health
I'm trying to think
didn't
who else
work for him. Right?
Best NHL players without a cup.
Oh, that's cheating.
Iginla would be one.
Very, very good. Hall of Famer. A lot of respect for him. Not generational.
Marcel Dion.
Yeah, so Marcel
Pavel Bure.
did what
Those
he
would be the
did
ones.
largely. Like, I started watching NHL hockey in '79. That might have been the peak of Dion at that age, but I didn't really appreciate what he was doing and you know, by the time I got a little older and started, you know, understanding the history, he was kind of washed. So I can't definitively tell you that he wasn't. He might have also just been a really good player on a lot of bad teams and collected points. There are guys like that, right? Bure, I watched from his first game. I remember talking to Scott Taylor, who was a reporter in Winnipeg. Yeah. He came into I was managing an HMV store in Winnipeg. He came in, and so I talked to him. I said, so how is Bure? And he talked in hushed tones about Bure the way people talk about McDavid. His skating was just next level ridiculous. But, you know, generational, I'm not sure.
HMV, by the way, they're back.
Yeah, I saw
pop-ups.
that.
They have in Toys R Us.
Yeah.
There's a couple of sections. They're like rows that is designed to HMV.
I know.
And it's great.
It's so weird. I'm going to have to go check it out just to do it.
They got records, CDs, DVDs,
Yeah.
and it's just, I don't know, it brings me back to, I miss HMV. I miss when you go and you put the CD, like you could listen to whatever CD you wanted. They had them in the wall. You just had to go talk to someone. They'd put it in and you could listen to it. HMV was great.
Yeah. My wife used to be the floor manager at the HMV Superstore in West End Mall. That store was incredible when it opened. I used to spend a lot of time in there.
Matthew Kachuk back in the Nasty Chat. Thanks for listening, by the way, from Florida. Edmonton's legacy died in the 90s. It's my time now. Long live the rat turtle, or whatever I'm supposed to be. I also think for like Connor and Leon, it's you know, you as much as you respect the past, there was this legacy of that you kind of could put them past, and Oiler fans could focus on you for the next 30 years, 40 years.
Well, an interesting one comes in on the inbox, and kind of what we've been talking to, but maybe more specifically because, and it's unnamed, but thanks for checking in. What do you guys think the keys to success are versus Florida? And do you guys think people are overlooking the Oilers in this series? I don't know that anybody's overlooking the Oilers, but I think there is an Eastern bias to when you get into these Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah.
There is a major bias.
Yeah, Drager said that this morning, right? He's based in Toronto. They know the East teams better. Everybody, and there's more East reporters than there are West reporters. They watch Florida all year. I've been in Toronto in the Eastern time zone when the Oilers are playing. And I'm sorry, but like it's 10:30 at night. not a lot of people are staying up till 1 a.m. to watch full Oiler games. And
F1 happens, it's 7, 6 in the morning here in Edmonton. There's a lot of people that aren't waking up to watch those, where someone in Toronto, it's 8, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
They can watch it. It does matter.
it 100% matters.
I do need to go off on some people though.
So do you want the mic on the
Well,
stage and
look.
yes, he does.
I saw this yesterday a bit, and I'm seeing this even in the nasty chat, people whining that the Oilers aren't getting picked. Who cares? I saw yesterday a bunch of people retweeting comments from Vancouver fans going, yeah, well, if we would have got past the Oilers, we would have been in the Stanley Cup Final. And Oiler fans are like, no, you wouldn't have. Who cares? Why do you care what anyone else thinks? Okay, as a Yankee fan, and I know people don't want to hear that, one thing that I love about being a Yankee fan is we don't care what anyone else thinks. We're the New York Yankees. All that matters is what the Yankees do, and everyone else is just noise. If you're the Edmonton Oilers and you're a fan of this team, puff your chest out, get some arrogance, get an ego, and say screw you to everyone else, and don't give a damn what anyone else thinks. Only care about you, your team, and what your collective fans think. But anyone else that wants to chirp, all you do is you chuckle, you laugh, like, oh, that's cute, tap them on the head and move on. Don't give them the time of day. Don't care that you're not getting picked. Don't whine about it. Just go, okay, cool, we'll show you at the end of the day. That's it.
Yeah.
Don't
That was 80s.
begging for other people to like you. The begging to be like, please pick the Oilers, like us. Move on from that.
Who cares?
That's the thing. Get the arrogance and the attitude of screw you. Be the Darnell Nurse in front of the media that one day. Screw all of you. Yeah, okay, the entire TNT panel outside of Gretzky picked the Panthers. So? The ESPN panel might a lot of picking the Panthers. So?
Perfect.
Absolutely. Like, who cares? Why do you care? Don't give it attention. Don't worry about it. And when you win, you got to make fun of them potentially a little bit, but also, who cares? You're one. Just focus on yourself and focus on the Oilers, and don't worry about the noise from anyone else. There's too much. I saw too much Vancouver stuff yesterday. You've moved on to the Stanley Cup Final. Enjoy it.
Vancouver's just
Who cares?
city of trolls.
Yeah. So, but
Oh,
the worst.
they're the worst.
But the worst thing to do with trolls is keep feeding into them.
Yes.
They're the worst.
Yeah.
Just move on.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I was annoyed by a little bit yesterday, is how many people are giving the time of day to other people, and who gives a damn? The Edmonton Oilers are back in the Stanley Cup Final for the first time since 2006 in 18 years. Enjoy it, embrace it, and be arrogant Oiler fans. Do it.
I'll
Screw
tell you why
everyone
they're
else.
not, though, Matt. That was the 80s Oilers. As an outsider, hated the Glenn Sather smirk, hated everything about the team and the fans and the arrogance and the divine right to win and everything else, right? The decade of darkness, which is 14 years, took that away. It took that away. The younger fans of the Oilers, the fan base, are fragile. And I completely understand why. They are afraid to hope.
Sure.
They will hope when the game is over and they've won 4 games in the next round.
But you don't have to worry about other people.
Yeah,
you
but
don't have to.
that's a learning
You don't
thing,
have
though,
to
Matt.
sit there and be like, "Oh, look, no one's picking us. Oh, pick us, please." Like, get past that. And also,
Who honestly cares?
But it feeds the
but it's also
insecurity.
here's the other thing about then those insecure people and stuff. Because look, I grew up. The Oilers have not won a cup in my life. I feel like if they win a cup, it might end the curse.
When were you born?
91. I'm like, they won the year before, the next season. So like, I
Well,
might
I'll
be
be
the
honest,
curse.
I don't remember much of
Sure.
the Billy Ranford
That doesn't-
Boston.
But I might
Cup.
be the curse. I was born and then the Oilers haven't won a cup. You know?
Oh,
like,
don't be so glamorous. of it.
First
Come on.
off, Matt, I could be your father. Secondly, I watched the 90 from the other side, right? I was a Jets fan and watched them blow a 3-1 lead. So, yeah, I know your 90 team pretty well. It was a pretty...
But
Yeah.
okay, but so I know what it's like to not see this team be successful.
Yes,
I
that's
lived
all you
through
know.
the 90s and the 2000s. I saw 06. I was all in on 06. But I'm like those other fans where I actually haven't. I've seen a lot of bad Oilers more than good Oilers.
Yes.
But let's look at what the Oilers have done over the last few seasons. They made the playoffs in 2020. Yes, they lose to the Blackhawks, but they made the playoffs. The next year, they make the playoffs in the Canadian division. Lose to the Jets, but you still made the playoffs. The year after that, you got to a conference finals. Mm-hmm. You beat the Calgary Flames. You got past the Kings, but you got to a conference finals. Last year, you got to the second round, and you played Vegas really well.
Yep.
That we look at the last 2 years, they got knocked out by the Cup-winning team. This year, you took down the Canucks, and also you're back. You are now in the Stanley Cup Final. The insecure this team wins. Mm-hmm. They haven't done the ultimate prize. They haven't gone and got the ultimate thing, but they've won a lot of playoff hockey the last few seasons, 3 seasons. And start puffing your chest out if you're an Oiler fan. Embrace this. Have fun with this. And again, I go back to the 31 other teams. Who gives a damn? Because ultimately, the Oilers are either going to hoist the Stanley Cup, or for the 3rd straight year, they'll only have been knocked out by the Cup champ. That's how good the Oilers have been these last 3 seasons. Yeah. The only team that could take them out is either no one or the Cup champion. That's pretty damn good.
It's amazing. And that's what Old Dutch is always talking about. It's the steps to get there, right? And these are all steps. Building up the scar tissue, losing to teams that found a way to win, and understanding, okay, we just need that little bit more, that 1% more, right? So, still don't have it, do you?
I'm starting to feel like I just won't get it.
Yeah.
It's not even registering on my MacBook.
Oh. Yeah.
But even this mouse I have, it connects with light, but it doesn't move, the mouse. So now I'm like completely lost.
Yeah. Dusty,
like
HR Daddy needs to sign off for a new computer.
Well, this is just not even a year old. Oh. But my MacBook's 3 months old. So I have no idea what's going on. So, but we've got this one mic at least. Yeah. That's working well.
It could be interesting in the next hour, though.
I might have to step out, or I don't know.
Yeah, there you go.
I should have had a second cable, I guess.
Well, make Maddie feel better.
Oh, actually.
About things.
No, that's not going to work.
Because he hit that like button. What do you think the record of likes is on the Hangout?
On the Hangout?
Yeah.
I don't know if I can find that.
Let's try smash it. Oilers going to the Cup. You know.
It's a good reason to smash.
Well, look, it's a great time to be in Edmonton.
Yeah.
Stingers are 4-0. I was at the game yesterday.
Bingo.
Only undefeated team in the CBL. Riverhawks got their season underway in Bellingham. 1-2 this weekend. That's okay, but Riverhawks season is underway. You could catch the game later tonight right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. The Hawk? I can't remember where they are. River Ridge or something like that. Also, I have to give a disclaimer on that right away here. Elks start their season this week, and the Oilers are in the Cup Final. Like, what more could you ask for? And it's summer, almost. Yeah. Like, it's the end of spring, start of summer. Yeah. What more could you ask for the city of Edmonton? When it comes to the Edmonton Stingers road games, I learned late last week. Ridgefield, thank you. I learned late last week that some teams don't have play-by-plays, and we're picking up other people's feeds. And I don't know which teams right now don't have play-by-play. So I will throw it on tonight, and if there's no play-by-play, we won't have it on the stream because we won't just play random sounds. But we'll find out.
Well, and like Rip City Step, he mentioned in the inbox, also added to next Saturday's doubleheader is you can make it a triple header Friday night with the home opener for the Riverhawks.
Well, you got home opener then. You also have tomorrow the Stingers are going for 5-0, and then they're in action on Sunday.
Wow.
It's just we have so much going on.
Can you take it easy a Friday night at a Riverhawk game? Because that doesn't work for your plan that you laid out.
Oh, I could take it easy at Riverhawks. Oh, it's beautiful because it's so relaxing. Yeah. Like you could go do it Mooner's probably going to be there, and I'll go sit with Mooner, Section I gang. And you could it's baseball. It's so relaxing.
Oh, I love going to the park.
You don't need drink. You don't need anything sometimes. You could just get a nice cool water, like a water pop or something. If you want a drink, those are good too. And you just sit back, relax, enjoy some ball. That's what makes baseball the best.
You ever catch a pop fly or a foul ball?
No, never caught one. I did get a Trappers when I was a kid. I was just very young, old John Ducey Park. I was hanging over in the bullpen area, not really thinking, and some guy gave me a ball.
Nice.
I don't know who. I still have it.
Funny story about that.
Oh.
Funny story.
Funny haha.
My wife and I went to, funny haha, okay. Or just kind of like, holy, that happened? My wife and I went for our 10-year anniversary. This would have been now 6 years ago. Actually, it was about 5 because we had to wait a year. But anyways, we went to the Kentucky Derby, and we bookended it.
Did she have a pretty hat on?
Oh, we did full nines,
nice.
Did it all up. And we bookended it with Nashville because Nashville is close to Louisville where the race is. So we did 3 days Nashville, 2 days for the race, and then 3 days back in Nashville, or 2 days back in Nashville. When we got back to Nashville, we had already done the Broadway and all the party scene and done that. So we wanted to look around, and that's where Vanderbilt University is.
Who are big into their baseball.
That's a great
And so we were driving around one night in our rental car, and we saw all these lights. And you know how you see stadium lights and they go up into the sky. We're like, well, what's that? It's like I don't know, Wednesday night, Tuesday night. Like, it was a weird time. So we drive closer, and here it's their baseball diamonds lit up, and they're playing. So it was like in like the 8th inning. So we park in the back, and we literally just walk in because there was no ticket takers there.
Yeah, they've all left.
So we walked into the outfield seats, and just as like, oh, this is cool. Vanderbilt's playing, I don't know, somebody, but here you're watching SEC baseball. Whack! Guy hits a home run right into us.
No way.
And we were the only people sitting there.
Yeah.
So I had a Vanderbilt home
Did you
run
catch
ball.
it, or you just let it go down?
No, it went over the seats and
Oh,
it damn near hit our rental car. But I went down and grabbed it, and I was like, cool.
Nice.
I don't know where that baseball is today. I think I gave it to somebody.
Yeah, I went to Trappers game and caught a foul ball. I was sitting behind, I don't know, first base side or something like that. Yeah, it was good. Caught it. It's great. Held it up, got the big, cheer from the 1,000 people that were there. It was fun.
Ducey Dome. What are memories, eh?
It's Vanderbilt. I think they realize they're an SEC, so they're not good enough at basketball or football. And they're just like, okay, we'll go all in on
They weren't terrible at basketball this last year. They were decent.
They've spent a lot of money, though, on the baseball program.
Huh.
Vanderbilt basketball. How did they do?
Clearly.
I don't like having a...
It's top of the hour, Maddie. Do you need to do any reads?
Wow, I was actually about to get to something.
There you go.
Just trying to see. So Vanderbilt last made the tournament in 16, 17. But they haven't made the tournament in the last few years when it comes to that. This is the EST Hangout, presented by Two Hoots Hard Iced Tea, live at Central Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, where we only have one microphone because my board doesn't want to work, and I don't know why. It was working at 8:40 this morning, so between 8:40 and 9 o'clock, something went out, and we haven't been able to fix it. Matt Iwanyk, Milne, Dean Belanger with you here on iHeartRadio, TuneIn, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, as well as on YouTube. And right now, it's time to qualify someone for the $100,000 hole-in-one contest, which is presented by Golf Town, which will take place July 3rd. July 3rd. He should be able to just walk in one of these spots. Odell Willis is here, so we might have Odell Willis join us. $100,000 hole-in-one contest. Golf Town, Ranch Golf and Country Club, July 3rd. You could be one of 25 contestants possibly with a chance to swing for $100,000. The Morning Boys qualified someone from Friday / the weekend. We want to qualify someone in for the draw tomorrow. So you could, if you win if you get through with qualifying, you have a 1 in 4 shot of being one of the contestants. The keyword to text to 780-218-9999. It's flag. Flag is an FLAG, the flag on the pin. 780-218-9999. That is to go into the draw for today during the Hangout for the $100,000 hole-in-one contest, brought to you by Golf Town, who've got their Father's Day special at golftown.com, also in store. Big savings on TaylorMade. They've got 25% off bags. Also, are you TaylorMade? TaylorMade? I have TaylorMade M2. Driver. You just picked up something.
I'm all woods, yeah. I just bought a Stealth 3-wood. I have a Stealth driver, amazing club, and then old 5-7 wood, and then Cirxon irons.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So Golf Town, big Father's Day special until the 9th. So that will go until the end of this week. Golftown.com, as well as in-store, give the gift of Golf Town.
And not that I'm going to favor any particular golf town, but we were at the South Edmonton Common yesterday. The staff were amazing. The service we got was incredible. So I would definitely recommend going to check them out.
They are always great. So now how are we going to do this with Odell? That's a really good question. Right in the middle?
Yeah, I can step out.
For a little bit?
I'll step out for a former Blue Bomber.
Odell Willis is going to be joining us here on the EST Hangout. That was Dean Belanger. We'll bring him back in at some point as well. There's a big Elks night afternoon that I will be hosting here at Century. And then a reminder, the Green and Gold kickoff postgame shows, it gets going on Saturday. 1 o'clock we're hearing, because we're hearing 2 o'clock kickoff for this season opener and home opener for the Edmonton Elks. So I'll just put the mic right there. This will be perfect. Odell, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
You don't. This should be good. We've been doing it with one mic. Our board went out on us.
Oh man.
How have things been? How was training camp as a coach?
Training camp was cool, man. It was a little different, you know, being on the other side and just seeing the ins and out, the day and day of the coaching side. But like I said, I enjoyed it, and like I said, I appreciate them for letting me be there, you know, give back and help the guys, and you know, try to rebuild this thing.
Do you miss training camp? Or is that like the one part that you don't miss about the game? Because like we were speaking to Eugene Lewis at Fan Day, and he says he loves training camp. He loved training camp. Did you love training camp as a player?
I mean, me personally, I love like just practicing in training camp period, because it was always a way to work on your craft and get better. I mean, and plus it was better than those meetings. I hated meetings because after you know, I played for 13 years, so after about year 4 or 5, it was just like, man, it's getting reciprocated. Like, it's either A gap, B gap, C gap. Like, so it was just the meetings, but you understand the meeting because the meetings are for the new guys and guys whose understanding of the game quite ain't there. But you know, as a veteran, you just sitting there, you trying to stay awake for the most part. So, you know, the part I missed about training camp, you know what I'm saying, was just hanging out with the guys. But no, I hated the meetings. I hated the meetings. So.
Well, you're going to have to maybe start to appreciate the meetings now that you're, you know, as you say, interning with the coaching staff at every practice, doing that. So how did that happen? Is that something that you've wanted to pursue since your career on the field ended, was possibly a career in coaching?
I mean, I always entertained it, but you know, for most guys, it's like as soon as they get done, that's the quickest way out, because football is, for the most part, is all we know. But for me, when Jones first got here, he was always, you know, hey man, you're more than welcome to come out, help the guys. And the first year it was more like, I don't want to help nobody, I want to play. I want to help us win. So, you know, it was just trying to find yourself, because after you retire, it's like, what's next? And I mean, people say it's easy, but it's not as easy as people say it may think it is. I mean, like I said, you play 10 plus years and you've been doing it all your life, to all of a sudden just nothing. I mean, it's kind of tough to deal with. I had my times, but then, you know, as the days go on, you know, you find different ways to deal with it. Then, like I said, year 2 last year, it was just like, I was out there with them, and I'm like, okay, I might could do this. And he told me, like, hey, man, you're more than welcome to come out here. But at the time, I was building my gym. So it was like, I wanna come, I wanna help and do the most for the team. So I'm gonna do as most as I can, but at the same time, I gotta build my gym, because that's where my heart was, and that's where my heart is now. And now that I'm open, as you know, and, you know, things are doing good, I'm more flexible where I can be there all day to help the guys. So, like I said, this year it was just a, you know, great experience being there day in, day out, you know, seeing the many difficult decisions that the staff have to make on putting this team together. And like I said, I enjoyed the process the whole time.
Well, and that's it, you know, I guess our connection came somewhat naturally as Odell's gym, the athletes compound, was right directly beside where Yvonne's
It's still
furniture.
there.
It's still
You're
there.
gone.
It is still there.
Yeah, he left us, man.
Yeah, we left. So when that first happened, I understood that there was a gym going in, and then I got to meet and get to know Odell a bit more. And tell us a bit more about the athletes compound, because I know what you're doing there and what you're doing for young kids, athletes in the Edmonton area, and potentially getting them opportunities that, I don't know, is that available to everybody, or is this just because of what you're doing there, how you're doing it, and who you know?
It's for everybody. Because my thing is, it all started with me just looking at the kids and wondering why more kids not getting opportunities to go nowhere. It's like a 3-headed triangle. It's like, if you don't make U of A, you go to Huskies or Wildcats. And I'm just like, is that like it. Like, y'all don't have no other options. And just training a few kids, I'm training them like, yo, you have an opportunity. Like, you can actually play. And, you know, every kid, let's just be real, every kid wants to go play in the NFL. I mean, I wanted to play in the NFL, but I was just as happy playing in the CFL, which is nothing wrong with it because you want to make millions to take care of your family. I mean, CFL, you still can take care of your family. It's just not on that same level. But for me, it was more so just watching these kids not having the opportunity or not people not helping them, giving them the opportunity to go to the States because you look at it, the first 3 draft picks in the CFL, where those kids came from.
Yeah.
Canadian kids that played in the state.
South, yep.
And if you go look at the draft prospect list of the top 25 kids before the CFL draft, at least 16 of those kids was from the States. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with these kids leaving to go play down there in the States because at the end of the day, it gives them a better opportunity because if they don't go to the NFL, guess what? They're going to be the hottest thing for the CFL, and that's in their backyard where they eventually want to play if they don't make the NFL anyway. So, you know, the Athletes Compound, like I say, it's a gym, but it's more so for opportunity.
Opportunities that are different and would present different, I guess, avenues for young athletes from the Edmonton area to go different places. Now, I know about this because the day I came over to bug you for a bit, and you were just you were almost touching heaven because you were so elated with how your camp went that you had a lot of pros, a lot of scouts come in to look at. Can you touch on that a bit more and expound on what happened at that camp and what opportunities there were?
Man, the showcase. So,
Athlete Showcase was it called?
It's called the Canadian High School Football Showcase. Now we're a non-for-profit organization. So it started with, like I say, wanting to get these kids exposure, and I went around through the schools to see how many schools have actually came up here to recruit kids, and it was none because no schools actually know nobody up here. So I'm like, let me make a few phone calls and see would they even be interested in coming. And they was like, man, yes, if you put it together, take care of this and that, we'll come. So I'm like, that's all I needed. The hardest part was getting the space.
Yeah.
The hardest part was getting the space to even have the event. But like I said, once we had it, everything was the whole nine. And, you know, I just, you know, not to I say it humbly, but I had to shut some people up because they was like, oh, you just a cash grab, or you not for real, you giving these kids false hope. And I'm like, I'm not a cash grab because the event is free. And I'm not, you see what I'm saying?
Little hard to make money if you're not getting anywhere.
You see what I'm saying? So I'm like, I'm showing y'all how much I'm into these kids. And I'm not selling them dream because I actually have schools up here from the States looking at these kids, and it's like, and I asked them, who else in the city or even in the country bringing U.S. coaches up here to recruit these kids? And it's nobody. And if they are doing it, they getting something from it. All I want to do is build a pipeline for these coaches to be like, hey, Odell, do you got some kids for us? Because now Canadian kids are hot. Hell, UBC just had a kid drafted in the 4th round. That's huge.
This city has Chuba Hubbard.
Exactly, that's huge.
It's been a huge, big deal.
It's huge.
They almost lead the rushing, and rushing is the second last season.
Exactly. So these coaches are looking like, and these kids, they got the grades, they got the attitude, they got the character, you know, and just being real, that's ahead of the game of most of the kids in the States because we in the States, we understand the recruiting, so we get a sense of entitlement. Whereas kids from up here, they just want an opportunity and a chance, and they going with it. You know what I'm saying? So that was my thing to get these kids opportunities, and we actually have 6 kids from the showcase with scholarships going to Missouri Valley. So,
nice.
I mean, my thing was to get them opportunity. The results from it, I mean, I didn't expect that. I was like maybe 1 or 2 kids, but for 6 kids to get it, and then IMG, one of the top schools in the nation, high schools in the nation, they wanted like 6 more kids, and I think they actually taken 1. So it's like your first showcase, and you basically have 13 kids with an opportunity to go further their football opportunities. I mean, I'm beyond proud of that, and I just can't wait to spin the block again next year.
Well, you had a shout out from Swaggerville. On the
Yeah.
EST chat.
Okay.
And also, Willie has passion for the game for sure. Thumbs up.
Oh yeah.
How can people get more info on everything you're working on?
Right now they could go to Instagram. They can find me on Twitter. They can find us on Facebook. Send a message. Like I say, I'm always got the business phone working. So, like I say, man, just hit us up. 9938 67 Ave. Come see me. We open every day. No days we not closed, not any days. And like I say, if you want that opportunity or you're looking for that opportunity, go to the next level, whether it's in the States or even youth sports, hey, come holler at the mayor.
So when we're with Odell Willis, J Mill, Matt Iwanyk, live Central Casino Sports Bar and Lounge for the Hangout presented by Two Hoots. You've played for a few teams in the Canadian Football League.
Yes, sir.
Why did you choose to stay in Edmonton or come here to Edmonton and stay here?
I mean, it's the way the CFL is built. Edmonton, Winnipeg, and who else? The community on Saskatchewan. And when you play there, it's a difference.
Yeah.
It's really a difference. Like Calgary, they care about their team. Vancouver, they care about their team. But it's like when you're in Winnipeg, here, Saskatchewan, you go to the grocery store, it's like fans care about you. They see you. Hey, how you doing? Great game. You go to Vancouver, Toronto, places like that, it's like, okay, who are you? So it's, they gravitate to, their team more than the other province. So, I tell people I was birthed in Winnipeg and I became a star in Edmonton. And, Edmonton became, I fell in love with it, especially after winning the Grey Cup here. I mean, it just felt right. And it was the first place I spent my first offseason to see what it would be like. And it was like, that first offseason, I was like, man, this is way better than home right here. So I'm like, why keep going home? So I made Edmonton my home, and like I say, wife and 2 kids later, I'm happy.
Well, Big Maple comes in on the Nasty Chat. Great question. Ask Odell if Last Chance U made any kind of impact on football in Mississippi. Being a small-town guy from there himself, was that program widely known about prior to that?
Yeah, because, you got to think about it. Why would Netflix go do a series on people who ain't win?
JUCO in Mississippi.
You know what I'm saying? But JUCO football in Mississippi is real big. Not even just at the school that was at. Mississippi JUCO football is some good football. So is Kansas and California. Those 3 states, I know for a fact they have good JUCO football. So, those places really didn't need Netflix to really put it on the map, because if you're in the football world, you know about Mississippi, Kansas, and California having top JUCOs.
What would you equate the level of football at a junior college to something? Would that be CIS-esque, or is it still better?
Nah, it all depends, because you got some JUCOs you're like, man, what is this? But then you got some JUCOs like the one you seen on Netflix that come up here and they would probably be top school up here, because of the fact that you got to think those JUCOs that's like on Last Chance U, they have a lot of kids, second chances that was 5 stars. Like, these are big time players at these JUCOs, so it's not like this just a JUCO with some average kids going to it. No, these like big time JUCOs where big time schools come get these kids and things of that nature. So it's the same way with Division II and NAIA now in the States, because all the Power Fives, they recruiting from the little schools. They're not really recruiting high school kids anymore. Right. So I try to tell my guys up here, like, yeah, D1 is cool, but do you really want to go D1 and be sitting the bench? Like for example, when I sent my kids to Missouri Valley, I know they would go there and have a chance to play their first 2 years. It won't be, oh, you going to sit or you going to red shirt. No, you actually have a chance to play your first 2 years. And then if you want to go to the portal, you can go to the portal and go up, because now you have that film and that experience to get to the next level, instead of a school coming up here getting you and telling you to go to the transfer portal. It can happen. I'm not saying it can't, but your chances is harder because at the end of the day, you got to do it for yourself compared to them already. You're down there in the water with the Sharks already. Like, if I ball out at the U of A, now I got to send my own film out. I got to make sure I'm sending to a right place and a good opportunity compared to me already being down there. When the season over, all the big-time schools, who was balling at these little schools? And they just go get you. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying your opportunities and your chances are higher. So, you know what I'm saying? It's CIS, they got some youth sports, they got some good kids. They got some ballers. But like I said, at the end of the day, you know those kids want to play at a higher level. And nothing wrong with them, you know, promoting themselves to get to the next level. But like I say, if they want the help, I'm here for them. So, you know what I'm saying? Football is football at the end of the day. It's all about the X's or who can come together and get 11 guys or 12 guys to, you know, do this all on the same level. You know what I'm saying? One wrong person can make everything bad. So, like I said, I look at it as football is football.
This is the EST Hangout. This is Hangout Headlines brought to you by the Ranch Golf and Country Club. Premier conditions, top-notch service, unparalleled value. Check them out. Golf at the Ranch this season. It's the place, only place you're going to want to golf. Book your tee time, theranchgolf.com. You a golfer?
Yes, I'm a big golfer.
What's your average score then?
It just depends. If I'm like, when I first started, Ryan King are the reason I'm even golfing.
You mean you've talked to him?
Ryan King doesn't respond to
He's
text.
the most elusive person I've ever met in my life.
Yeah, so back in.
How do you get a hold of him?
We actually stay in the same complex.
Okay,
Same.
Well, that makes it easier.
I'm going to follow you home, and I'm going to find out where this guy lives, and I'm going to camp out there.
Were together at the Wildcats.
Yeah, we were
connection through the
Bears
Wildcats.
guys.
Yeah. In 14, he was just like, man, I hit a good shot just on some lucky because it was like my first time. I used to just go and drive for. And I was like, man, if I learn this game, I'll beat y'all. And he was like, bro, I've been golfing all my life. I don't care if you took lessons, you would never beat me in your life. So I went and bought me a whole set of clubs, and then I just fell in love with it. But it's like now I didn't got down to I'm gonna say I'm an average around like 92, 93.
Nice.
Hey, that's good.
That's an honest golfer right there too.
Yeah, but
That's being honest.
But it's my putting. My putting sucks. My putting sucks because I can get on the green. It's just I'm a 3-putt. I'm a 4-putt. It's like,
You know, that would be like an 18-19 handicap. That's a good.
I feel like, well, at least when I'm putting, 'cause that's the only part of my game that's actually good. Just aim. You just want to be within 5 feet of the hole.
and
Don't
see
aim for the hole.
It
Just
don't
aim
even
for
matter.
5 feet.
I'm the guy to be like, hey, y'all, is that a gimme? I need. Come on now.
I'm good at. I like giving up gimmies. I'm pretty generous on the gimmies.
I go for
putting's hard.
It's hard, man. Like I don't. It's like I done finally took all the muscles out because I play old man golf. I swing with my 9 and 8, my 9 and pitching wedge, and get down there, and then I get there, and it just, doom, ball just gone. I'm like, yo, I go from birdie to double bogey just like that, and I be. But you know, I like it because it's so challenging. I feel like it's something you can't actually conquer.
No, because even if whenever you get your best score, let's say your best score, you get a 75. Okay, well, you want a 74 now.
Exactly.
There's always that little bit more, unless you have like a perfect round where it's only birdies the entire scorecard.
Man,
there's always more.
I'd say some of
get.
those pros that have broken 70. I would hang your hat on that for the rest of your life.
Sure.
That's a pretty amazing feat.
I shot an honest 84 one time, and I ain't.
Broken 60 into the 50s.
Yeah, the 59. Like there's so few
That's
that
what
have
I
done
mean.
that.
Yeah.
Like that honestly is maybe the conquer.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the closest.
Yeah.
That could be the one.
Nah.
You're not far off.
No, I'm very far off because, like I said, I haven't got even close back to 84.
30-some strokes you still got to shave off.
Man, exactly. I got to play scratch golf.
Okay, so you're close to this team. You're close to this. You know, we're looking at the 75-year
75,
logo
baby.
right there. You've been through training camp. You're around the team every day. Maddie and I do the kickoff show, post game show. We're going to be following the Elks as much as we possibly can too. But tell us right now, like, what's your outlook
What's your
on
read on the team?
the 2024 version of the Edmonton Elks?
We definitely making the playoffs this year.
Okay.
Definitely. We're a serious contender this year. And like I said, I've been saying it from day one. And that's the thing. Folks thought when Jones came back, oh, yes, we just going to be right back in the cahoots of things. And you got to understand, yes, from the outside looking in, we should, looking at his track record, but you got to think about the business side of things, how we had to rebuild the business side of getting rid of Brock and all that. So it's like that's finally, I feel like that's finally out of our.
They finally had some money to spend on coaches this year. The coaching cap. Chris Jones last couple of years was limited to how many coaches he can have. Now he was able to go get a couple of extra coaches on his staff. Yeah,
so it's like now we rocking. Like I said, we got a quarterback situation that's really gonna help us. Defense always gonna be lights out because, like I said, Coach Shivers, from the Stube and Jones tree, and plus he always have had a top defense since he's been a DC. So it's gonna be real good this year. Like I said, McLeod, Bethel, those guys are looking good. Then, like I say, it's a good thing for Trey to sit back there and learn from a proven winner. So it's like you look at the aspects. We got a good running back. We got receivers that can make plays. We got a nice O-line, like I say, and we young. So what else can you ask for? Like, you got a good young team that's ready to, win, and they hungry. So, and like I said, I'm just proud to be a part of it.
There's not a lot of coaches out there that I can recall where you just know the players actually love playing for them, and they talk openly about how much they love playing for them. Chris Jones is one of those guys.
Oh, man.
Wherever he's been, whether first year in Edmonton, go to Saskatchewan, come back here in Edmonton, you just hear from players that they love playing for Chris Jones. What is it about playing for Chris Jones that players love so much?
Man, he's at the end of the day, he's one of us. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the guys, and he's just one of the coaches. That's just really the only difference. He laugh, joke, you know what I'm saying? But then when it's come down to business, it's business, you know what I'm saying? He's not going to sugarcoat it. You know what you're going to get from him. He's very transparent, you know what I'm saying? You ain't got you going to know where you stand with him when you playing for Chris Jones. And as a player, that's all you want. You don't want nobody just feeding you week in and week out until, you know what I'm saying, they actually know what they want to do with you. With Coach Jones, he going to tell you, this is where you at, this is where you stand, this is what we want from you, this is what we need from you. And if you can fit that, you're going to have a good time. But if you can't fit that, hey, it's next man up, because folks really fair to realize he got to feed his family too. Everybody like, oh, he bringing in, he cutting guys. It's like he's trying to put together a team because, at the end of the day, feeling sorry and pity don't feed nobody's family. So he trying to feed his family. So he trying to put the best guys out there to feed his family. And the guys he put out there, he want them guys to be feeling the same way. Hey, you got to feed your family too. And, you know what I'm saying, one of his mottos is don't nobody owe you anything. Just because you're here, don't nobody owe you a right to anything. So you're not entitled to anything. So, like I said, I think it's the transparency he have with all his players and with his team is the reason why we like him so much.
By the way, congratulations to Brett, who's the qualifier for the $100,000 hole-in-one contest brought to you by the Golf Town. That'll take place July 3rd at the ranch. Next chance to qualify in the lock shop with Huss.
Spency 5 cents, he comes in, and you'll laugh at this because this is kind of an inside thing, but I'll tell you what it's about. He said, I put my Elks over 6.5 wins on Cool Bet this morning. Minus 133. Music to my ears. Now, do you gamble on sports at all? Time to time a little bit?
I did a little bit with the NBA just to,
keep it interesting.
Yeah,
little things. And that's like me. Just keep it entertaining. We were talking about the Elks a few hangouts ago, and I went on Cool Bet, and I think it was minus
110.
110. At 6.5, over 6.5 wins.
So 7 or more wins for the Elks.
And I thought, geez, I'm thinking they're going to get 8, 9, or 10 wins. That was my thought. So I put down a bet, maybe a little larger than normal.
The same bet as VR.
Okay.
He showed me his bet. It's the exact same.
Okay. And it might have moved the odds a bit.
It did move the odds.
Now,
you guys moved the odds that day.
But it wasn't
you and a couple listeners put money down. It was minus 110. That afternoon it was minus 125, and now it's minus 133.
Right.
And if you look at every other line that's there for teams, I was looking at least yesterday, they're all still like at the minus 110, minus 150. The only line that has changed is the Elks over 6.5 wins.
So it wasn't a big bet, but I guess nobody's really betting on that yet. I'm sure this week those numbers will change. But
Yeah, they probably saw that all of a sudden. Why is there bets on the Elks over 6.5 and going, that's not good. We should maybe change this.
Yeah.
That's crazy. We definitely winning. You might well cash out on that one.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm banking that one.
Like
I
all
like
the
that.
overs, the Lions 118, Stamps minus 115, Ticats minus 130. Okay, that one's gone up a little bit. Als minus 109, Red Blacks minus 119, Saskatchewan minus 110, Toronto minus 120, Winnipeg minus 110. Like the highest are the Elks now, and that's because you and VR and a couple listeners all threw the money down. So Spency, 5 centsy, you got a little worse odds. It's because it's Jay's fault.
Sorry. Well, it's the same amount I put on the Oilers to win the Stanley Cup.
Which, as you say that, the Edmonton Elks have now officially announced the game on Saturday has been moved to 2 o'clock. So Commonwealth Stadium, 2 o'clock, Elks Riders this Saturday, which means the Green and Gold kickoff show live right here from Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. Myself, Jay. That's going to get going at 1 o'clock. But Elks at 2, should be done by 5. Lots of time to go somewhere, and then 6 o'clock. Oilers, Panthers, game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals. The last championship professionally this city won was in 2015, as at the time the Edmonton Eskimos went to Winnipeg and hoisted the Grey Cup.
Yeah.
You were part of that team. Favorite memories of that team?
Man, that team was special. Actually, that team, helped my career because in training camp, I thought I was gonna get cut.
Really?
Yeah, man. You had the guys he brought in, like I say, Chris Jones. Like I say, when he find guys from everywhere. You had guys come in like Big Willie J, Dion Lacey, Otha Foster, Dexter McCall.
Those names.
I'm like,
Forgot about Otha Foster.
I'm like, where the hell you find these guys at? They
Pat
taller,
Watkins.
they bigger. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I'm looking at Marcus Howard. I'm like, bro, this may be it for us. This may be it for us. But those guys, but they was young, but they looked up to us like, show us the way, and they was like, oh, okay, y'all looking for us to. Whew. I thought y'all were going to take a spot, man, because, Chris Jones, like, he want the best of the best out there. And like I said, just being with those guys, man, JC Sherrod, oh, man, like I said, it got to a point I can honestly say around probably about a little before the middle of the season where Coach Jones, he was just coming in like, all right, here go the game plan. Tell me what y'all want to run. And we were just, and it was like we was doing it ourselves, and it was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure we're going to win this cup because I don't know. That was the first time I had been on a team like that where you got your whole defense in there without the coaches and we coming up with the game plans of what's going on. We only gave up 15 points that year.
Oh, it was – I'm a Ravens fan, so I love defense. I love watching defensive football.
Yeah,
and it was – I'd rather – like, usually you want your offense on the field because you want to go see points scored. I wanted to see you guys on the field because it was so exciting entertainment. I think it's the closest thing we've ever seen in the CFL to the Legion of Boom from Seattle.
Man.
You guys were athletic. You were fast. You were
just think
physical,
of the names that
you were
just
tough.
rattled off. I mean,
Was John Ojo part of that?
Yeah.
Was he, okay, John Ojo would have been part of
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So you got to look, you had Pat Watkins, John Ojo. That's
Grimes.
6'5" at corner. Then you had Grimes and Marcel. They running like at least 4-3 at the halves. You had Otha Foster at the Sam, which could run and was physical. You had J.C. Sherrod, which was a dog. You had Dexter McCall next to him, which was a dog. You had
Dion Lacey.
You had Dion Lacey, which was rotating. Then you had our D-line was crazy. You had Marcus Howard, Armando Sewell.
Zeus, yeah.
You had Daniel Ramasione. Then you had me. Then you had
Eddie Steele was
Eddie,
around?
You had Eddie Steele rotating with them three. And it was just like
It was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous. Like
Constant.
it was.
Rotate guys
Well,
in
and then
just go.
you guys came like it was.
And on top of it, I forgot about Willie Jefferson.
Yeah.
Like,
How do you forget about Willie Jefferson?
He's okay.
yeah, like, man, it was light side. And I tell people all the time, like, man, that defense was probably one of the best ones in the last 25, 30 years of CFL football.
Oh, it has to be. I was a big fan of the 05 Eskimo team at the time, and they had a great defense. And I never thought I'd see a better defense. And then you guys came along, and it was ridiculous. No big plays basically allowed. And then that was the year Riley got hurt. Came back as the starter. He played in the Labor Day game, but he started on that rematch. And then the offense just got better and better each week.
That's what I'm saying.
And you guys didn't lose a game after Labor Day.
Yeah, he got hurt.
Rematch to Grey Cup victory.
It was over with.
It was only dubs.
It was over with. It was like he got hurt in Fort Mac.
Yes.
We didn't even want to be up there. I think that's the reason why he got hurt. But when he came back, it was just we went to Hamilton that year. Mike threw for 75 yards and we still won because we had three defensive touchdowns. We had 2 pick six, 1 fumble recovery and Mike threw for 75 yards. So it was like, man, let's go.
Turnover City. It's somebody catch the ball. You guys made him pay.
Oh man,
You guys were all there just beating on him. That was a great football team.
Man, it was. And like I say, Mike Riley in that offense with him, Darius Bowman, Darrell Walker, Kenny Stafford, Shamad Chambers, Nate Kuhorn, John White, Kevin McCarty. Those names you could just go on and on about. Those are names that people used to look up to in this league. Man. And we had all those names on one team.
Dean, sitting over there, he's a Bombers fan. He just texted me, Bombers D was pretty 6'3" years ago, just saying with a wink face.
Nah.
Wasn't no 15 there, Dean.
Nah.
Wasn't no 15. Bombers have had some good defenses, but no, that one was a special one. That one was a special one. And Jason Shivers was part of the coaching staff.
Yeah, he was the defensive back coach. That's what I'm saying. And I honestly think, I'm not mad at him for leaving, but I honestly think if he'd have stayed, at least
Shivers?
No, Jones. If he'd have stayed another 2-3 more years, we'd have been back. We'd have went back to back or possibly 3-peated easy because it was the same. We had basically the same team from 14 to 15.
Yes. Well, and you guys, I do believe if Michael Riley doesn't get hurt in 14, I think you guys take down Calgary.
Exactly. He's out there with a broke foot.
Yeah.
He's out there with a broke foot. So it's like, what you want us to do? You know what I'm saying? And the only thing we did was change our penalty ratios because we went from 17, 18 penalties in 14 to leading the league in only 5 or 6. And that was really the difference. So, man, it'd have been over with. We'd have killed this league. We'd have killed them, man. So, but those good times, man. Good times. Great times.
Well, we appreciate you coming on, Odell. I know you're a busy guy now with your gym, with your helping out with the Elks on the defensive side of the ball. But we got to get you back. We got to get you in the studio.
Yeah.
And we can talk just football.
We can just do 2 hours football.
Hey, we here, man. Like I say, you know where to find me. So,
right.
Man, like I say, I'm here. I love this city. Made this city my home, and whatever I can do to give back, help whoever I can help. You know what I'm saying? Just let me know, and I'm there, man.
Right on.
And your gym again?
Athletes Compound, man. You can find us at 99.
What's it on X, on Twitter?
No, it's my personal Twitter. Mayor of Athletes Compound.
Country King.
Yep, you can go to Instagram and type in Athletes Compound. And like I said, you can check out the Canadian High School Football Showcase. We actually just put out our combined results numbers for the showcase because we have an app coming too. But right now, you can go to Precision Performance Portal and you can check out your combine results, and later we're going to have some things opening up on that where they can send out their film and live recruit for themselves.
Complete package.
Yes,
Odell,
sir.
It's great meeting you.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you so much. And
Appreciate
like Jay
y'all.
was saying, we'll get you back
we
on.
got to get you.
We'll just have some great football chat.
Oh, yeah, no problem. I appreciate it.
And there's Odell Willis, Mayor of Commonwealth Stadium. Mayor of Commonwealth Stadium right there. J. Milne and Iwanyk, Dean Belanger will come back in right away here too. This is the EST Hangout presented by Two Hoots, live on EdmontonSportsTalk.com, on TuneIn, iHeart, as well as on YouTube. Reminder, coming up at 11 o'clock, it will be the Lock Shop. Huss and I think P. Gregory P. Greggy, or might be Jake from Coolbet Canada. They will be on in the net noon. Tom Gazzola and Sean Bell will have the oil stream for you as they'll recap more of the Oilers clinching their spot in the Stanley Cup Final. They will be taking on the Florida Panthers starting on Saturday. A reminder, later tonight, we've got Riverhawks action for you, we think, depending on the play-by-play situation of the visiting team. 7:35 would be scheduled first pitch, so come back to EdmontonSportsTalk.com for that. And if it's not that, it means they don't have a play-by-play crew, and this series won't be carried on EST. Dean Belanger back with us here, and Jay Milne. We're live at Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, where Jay and I will be on Saturday, 1 o'clock, Green and Gold kickoff show, as the game is now officially moved to 2 o'clock. That means at 4:30, the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pre- and post-game shows on Saturday on EST across all of our platforms. Jay and I will be on YouTube with the post-game show, as long as I can get this board working well, I need it for tomorrow because it's the Hangout.
Ridgefield Raptors, listen live.
I know, but sometimes they still only have just the sound of the game.
Really?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Like the crack of a bat?
That's all you hear. That's all you hear. If you go to the website of the WCL, everyone has a radio button that you can click.
That's actually not as absurd as you think. Major U.S. programming once did a test broadcast with just sound, no announcers. It's been done.
Well,
Didn't work, but it's been
I used
done.
to do the MLB TV. I'd buy the package, and they did have one of the best things is where you could take the announcers away and just listen to the sound of the game, or while watching it, and it's the best. Like, it was just very relaxing, but I had visual. We don't have visual on radio, so it's kind of important.
I retweeted something just yesterday. Cosmic baseball.
I saw that.
The black, and so instead of the big, bright lights in the outfield, they're black lights. And everybody's wearing like different colored white uniforms. The ball looks like a asteroid.
It's
coming
all
up.
neon. It's like, yeah,
It's crazy.
like they're behind black lights and stuff like that.
It's pretty amazing. So
Anything to make baseball more appealing to kids, because kids it's too long for them. They could
they've
care
shortened
less.
it.
They've done a good job of that, actually, but it's just it's not an attention span game, right?
It's a very social game. That's why going to Riverhawks is great, is that you don't have to pay attention to every pitch.
Yeah.
You could have a nice chat. Like, we could be doing it right now. We're just chatting, and you just look every so often. And just you kind of only have to keep your eye on so you don't get hit by a ball.
Yeah, but it's the moments between plays that makes baseball special, right? And not everyone gets that. By the way, Odell Willis is a hard act to follow. He did a great job.
He was awesome.
they're calling for a weekly segment, weekly check-in.
Get him on.
He's great.
Yeah, he is.
I love
And he's
him.
a proud Edmontonian.
Now he is.
You can tell.
And that 15 team was ridiculous. And
I went through the roster while you
It's
guys are
crazy.
It's crazy.
I don't know why. I've always felt this as a kid. When guys come up from the States and they adopt Canada and then they want to live here and they build their life here, like Odell has and Jefferson's doing.
And
in
Herbie
Winnipeg,
lives here in the offseason.
It makes me so proud. It makes me so proud, and I don't know why that is, but
well, because they
it's
could go
special.
back to the States and they could
Yeah.
go back home, but they're choosing to pick us and stay here. And it's one, like, when the league went to the House of Commons committee for money during COVID, I remember there was some people arguing against going, you're giving money to Americans. And but so many of these guys choose to stay here, though.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, it is,
Yeah.
it's such a league where, a lot of, the Oilers, not a lot of them stick around during the summer type
No.
thing. And NHL teams, they go to their various cabins or something like that. But the CFL, across the board, especially Edmonton, Winnipeg, and Saskatchewan, as Odell was saying, the community-owned ones, which the Elks might not be community-owned by the end of this season. But it'll be a group that cares about the community and stuff.
Right.
They stick around, and they make their home here. And there's a lot of former Elks that you can go find that aren't Canadians, that aren't Edmontonians, that choose to stick here. And now he went back, but Darius Bowman kept his home here in Edmonton for a number of years. Jason Moss still lives here.
his wife has a business.
Yeah, and they're out in Sherwood Park or something like that.
He
So
lives
like,
down the road from me, literally.
Oh,
does he?
look
Yeah.
at you, humble brag.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh, it's,
Good job.
Well,
Jim.
I'll
wow,
tell you
good
the-
for
I'll
you.
tell you the story
I live
on
in the
that.
building with Tom.
My wife
tell you
and
the
Deal with
story
that.
on that after the
Yeah.
show.
My wife and I went to the Joey Moss tournament last year, and there was a ton of former Elk Eskimo players, right, that live in the community. Like, it was great to see them all.
Okay, we gotta. I do want to wrap up with a little more Stanley Cup talk, but you did some prep for CFL, so we gotta quickly go CFL. What are we thinking for the CFL season overall? Is this a Bomber year again? Do the Lions beat the Bombers?
Yes.
Is there any other team that should be in the mix beyond those two? Is Montreal part of that? Toronto? I don't know what to make of Toronto.
So here's my feeling on it. Every year in the CFL, and you can go back 30 years, there is a couple of elite teams, there's a couple of absolute garbage teams, and then the middle, right? And usually the East Division is just all the middle. This year, I don't know what to expect from the Bombers. There's been so much turnover, attrition, age, high-priced guys leaving. I think BC is the team in the West, but the Bombers aren't going to roll over and give it to them. And I think Edmonton's going to be better. I think Saskatchewan's going to be better. I don't think Calgary is because I just don't like their quarterback room. And I think Toronto is going to do everything they can do to make a playoff spot, and then they will come out of the East.
See, and I don't trust Toronto. They lost a lot of players.
They did lose a lot of guys.
Now they don't have their quarterback for at least 9 weeks.
Yeah, and that's going to hurt.
And I don't know if you could really trust him when he comes back because we still don't know the full details of everything that is involved with this. And
yeah, but Montreal
that could ruin a team completely.
It could, and it could for this year. But Montreal's good. Montreal isn't elite. They got hot at the right time last year, right? So they're going to be good.
They're not the 15 Elks who got hot at the end, but they were good.
Right.
They were just completely talented. The Owls going into that playoff didn't win a single game against Toronto, BC, or Winnipeg all year, but they were undefeated against everyone else. They were right in that perfect cusp, and then they just did in the playoffs. Did what they needed to, won their 3 games, and were champions.
And if you're a CFL fan, you've seen that happen a million times, right? So
I remember the Stamps of 500 or one game, 8 and 10 making the
and
playoffs
beat
with Marcus
the Bombers.
Crandall. Was it the Bombers? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that was so horrible. Horrible. But I think Ottawa's going to be better. I like their quarterback room. And we'll see. I don't know which way Hamilton's going. If they're doing a reset or
who knows what happened with their quarterback.
Yeah.
And Ottawa just push him aside.
I think Drew will be okay there, but he's going to learn quickly it's not being a backup for the Bombers as it is being a starter, right?
You also don't have the Bombers' offensive line protecting
100%. But Drew's got it.
Which is kind of important.
I think he can run a program. So I think there's going to be a lot more teams within a couple games of 500 on either side of it this year, and you're not going to have that doormat team. Like Edmonton's been a doormat team lately, right? That's not going to happen this year.
Well, knock on wood.
Well, I don't understand what the Elks have done other than to say they put a lot of importance on winning this year because they're afraid.
Did they ever?
Yeah.
Did they ever?
And I think short term, not playing forward is really dumb. I think long term, it's tragic. But I understand why they're doing it. Because
this guy's not paying attention here.
Well, they brought in a quarterback that's going to help them win this year. And they want to build their crowd. They want to build their brand. They want to get things going in the right direction. They can't afford another 4-win season.
No, but you won't have 4 wins with Trey Ford.
I agree with you.
Green and Gold kickoff show Saturday at 1.
I would
Me and
not
Jay
have done what they did
when it comes to that one. So
and
I think the Elks have, going into the season, the number 3 ranked quarterback in the CFL.
In who?
In McLeod Bethel Thompson.
Vernon, I'd take over him.
No,
I would take Kolaros over him.
You'd take Vernon Adams over McLeod Bethel
100%.
100%.
Not even
Okay,
close.
then you're not taking Fiardo.
No, I'm
not taking him.
As of right
fine.
now,
Then he's
I
number
would
3.
probably, Trevor Harris and him are pretty equal to me.
Yeah, I agree.
I would have taken Chad Kelly, but
I'm saying right now.
Chad Kelly might be a horrible
he goes
human,
to
but he's
fourth
a
to me.
great quarterback.
He would have been 5th if Chad Kelly was a starter.
Not bad, considering.
But I wouldn't put. Okay, here's the thing though.
But if it's Trey Ford,
I
he's
still
not
would
even
have
in
him
the
close
top
to
5.
Yes, he is.
He could get there. He
I
won't
would-
start there,
you
but
have
he
no
could
idea.
get there.
I gotta finish the game.
Like,
I
you
don't
don't
want to
have a
say this
hot
was.
clue.
Here's the thing. I would take him over Jake Mayer.
Did you hear Odell?
Yeah.
Did you hear him?
Yeah.
He said it's good for Trey
Sure.
Ford to look behind an accomplished pocket winner.
Yeah.
Okay, I will just say this. My real thoughts, full of them, coming out Saturday at 1 o'clock. We might have to start at noon.
So,
but okay,
am I missing something with McLeod Bethel Thompson? Like, what is? Why are you anointing him so high? What am I
I'm
missing?
just happy that we finally have a pocket passer
Sure. And he's got a quick release.
who can
I've heard
distribute
that.
the ball accurately and on time. Not somebody that's going to take the ball and run around like they're chicken with their head cut off and then make a
Amazing
Doug Flutie-like play. I
Amazing
get it,
play.
but that does not last.
Who's one of the greatest
No, it
quarterbacks ever to
doesn't
play in the
last.
Canadian Football League? Doug Flutie, 2-time Grey Cup champion, by the way. Okay,
Turned
Oilers.
into a pocket pass.
He came into a chaos situation. What else was he gonna do?
No, he's not a pocket passer.
He's not.
But
I
he
don't want
can
him to.
learn that. But
Yeah,
he
you
can
can.
learn that.
Might have to grow 4 or 5 inches, but you can learn
He'll
that.
be fine. He'll be
All
fine.
right.
This is a league of short quarterbacks. Oilers going to the Stanley Cup Finals, taking on the Panthers. Is this week off good?
Yes.
I think
It's huge. It's the
I know
same
fans
amount
will
of
hate
time.
it,
No.
but I think it's great.
I don't know if they'll hate it. I think the fans need a breather too.
But I think they want the games. Let's get going and stuff.
I think
also,
it's okay.
I don't mind the games in between, the breaks in between games, because I know for fans like the 2 days off or whatever, they may hate that. But it's a long. Like this is the most northern team in North American professional
that's a
sport
crazy
against
stat.
the most southern team in North America going at it.
Yeah.
For the first time ever. The teams are going to need that extra day after
They do,
travel.
and good on the NHL
And it's going
for
to make
doing
it a
that.
better.
It's going to make it a better
It's
series
a better series.
for it.
Also, you have to pay attention to the NBA Finals.
I know, it's
will be
gonna-
underway.
they're gonna- but
Both
they're gonna catch
are
up.
on ABC, but also like you can't. The NBA took a bunch of dates first. You're
So
not
they're-
going to play at the same time as the NBA, so that messes
Even with the
your
3 games,
No, they won't play because it's ABC.
so they can't.
Also, if you're the NHL, you'd be stupid to go up against the NBA.
I agree.
You can't do that.
Okay.
So they always plan. So that's partly why it's all happening. But I think this break, it's perfect. Allow the team to just rest a little bit more and go all out there. And McDavid
Well-
and Leon could play their 30 minutes a night, comes 3 and 4, whatever, to clinch the Stanley Cup potentially.
And it's nice that Florida only clinched
The night
2 days
before.
ago, right?
Yeah.
Now, I said on the Hangout last week, and everybody laughed at me. They laughed at me.
Do they do this often?
Always.
Always, yeah.
He deserves it.
Yeah.
But I said, if you look at the Oilers' regular season, not that it matters, Mr. Lean, but if you look at the regular season, they would rattle off 2-3 losses and then go on 8
Runs.
8 games, 15 games, 7 games. I said last week when the series was at 2-2, I said, do you think the Oilers could go and win 6 games in a row and just put this thing to bed?
Well, they could. They're not going to, I don't think, but they could. They have it
Well,
in
hey,
them.
they're a third of the way there.
Yeah. It's true.
Should have they touched the trophy yesterday?
Yes. I think
I don't care
They
either way.
didn't in 06, or they did in 06 apparently.
I don't care either way.
This-
I'm not superstitious like
There's
that.
actually someone
Connor,
who's run
did you see
stats
Connor's
on it.
suit?
Connor yes,
wore the
yeah.
same suit 5, 6.
Well, and then
4,
the
5,
Have you
training
seen
staff-
his socks?
The
His-
training staff came in behind for that picture, for the team picture, and he don't even get close to it. Was hilarious to
So
see.
Yeah.
I will say the Panthers didn't touch it.
Maybe that had something to do with
But
it.
one team's already
Yeah.
So one team has to win, one team has to lose. So if you don't touch it, there is no jinx anymore.
Yeah. I think if
So who cares? At that point, to me, because the Panthers were the first one to do it, just go touch it, enjoy it, embrace the moment.
because you would have
and
had to
then
face
enjoy it.
Paul Coffey. Did you?
He was not enjoying.
He
the
was on
moment.
the end of the thing.
He was not enjoying the moment. He's just like,
Well, guess what?
I've been here before.
Yeah. Guess
I'm
what?
good.
Act like you've
He's got
been there
some rings.
before. I will fight you if you touch that thing. Was the look he was
I
giving.
think he
off
was
last
super.
night.
I think he was just upset with the charade of doing the
He didn't-
celebration.
He's the only
because
one
this
who didn't
isn't-
wear a hat.
That's not the end.
Because he doesn't
that's
care.
Not the goal.
He's done it.
Yeah, well,
And
I
I
agree.
get. I agree. And that's
would've
why
liked
you
them
could
touching
say,
it.
don't touch it because that's not the one you want.
Yeah,
but
I
you can
get
still
that,
enjoy the
but I
moment.
also think
Enjoy
you,
the moment. I'm not
why,
saying, but
so
it doesn't
why
take
is
touching a trophy to do that.
baseball? You win a wild card
Baseball's crazy.
series
You
of
make-
2
no.
games, and you have a party in your
You
clubhouse
baseball's
like
crazy.
it's
In baseball,
nuts.
you make the playoffs, you party.
Yeah, like-
you win the wild card game, you make the
You win the
party.
play-in game, you party.
Every time there's a party, which also like it's a joke, but it's also like I respect that.
Yeah, like
just enjoy the moment.
Totally
But
embrace it.
If that's what the team wants to do, all power to them. They can do whatever the hell they want.
McDavid is very superstitious. Like he's been wearing the same socks since junior.
It
so-
makes me happy now knowing that when I come up with my superstitions that I get ripped for, I could just be like Connor does it too.
Yeah,
to
well,
deal
and
with
yeah,
it.
you guys
I'm
are in
as
the
good
same
as Connor
class.
when it comes to superstitions.
100%.
So does Sidney Crosby. He's known for his superstitions.
There's a lot of people that do. Everyone does things, but it's not like I wore the same outfit every game for
I did in
16
06.
or I almost said 16 wins, 12 wins.
In 06, I had an Oiler shirt that I didn't wash, put that on, and an Oiler jersey 5 minutes before every game.
Yeah.
The entire
And how did that
playoff.
work for you, Game 7? It didn't.
Well, they got me to a game. I saw Game 7 of a Stanley Cup Final, and
But-
I didn't. But and it
by
was
the
even,
way-
my cousin had a grad that I was going to that night, and I was like to my parents, "Could I wear this underneath my suit?" And like, no. It's like, oh. So I threw it into the van before we left, and then during the dinner, it's like I got to go to the bathroom, and then I went and I put it on underneath. Then
the
my
way,
brother ratted on me.
Oh no.
And then my parents were cool. They were like, whatever.
Oh, no.
Because it was already there. So.
your Super Bowl closing the window story might be the dumbest thing I've ever heard you
I'm
say.
sorry. The Ravens were winning. The window was closed. The window opened. The Ravens almost lost and blew a huge lead.
Yeah.
I closed the window. The Ravens ultimately finished the game off and win a Super Bowl.
Right.
How is that stupid?
Right.
I saw them win a Super Bowl, Dean.
So
Who's your football team?
Who hurt Atlanta when they were up 28-3?
Me. my brother's an Atlanta fan, and at halftime I text him congratulations.
Oh, you didn't.
I did.
Oh,
I did.
my
I felt
God.
really bad on
Same
that
thing
one.
happened to me.
So-
I had a major future on Atlanta winning the Super Bowl that year.
Yeah, no.
Like, it would have been big.
Yeah.
My sister texted me at halftime and said,
Oh no!
she says, this is looking real good. And I'm like, so I text her back. I'm like,
You
Tom Brady
You erase that.
is on the other sideline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I immediately went and hedged.
I was at
That was even better.
Yeah.
The hedge.
I was at
at halftime. You're down
I screwed that one up.
28-3.
Yeah, I screwed that one up.
I was at a Big Rec concert, and Big Rec was amazing, but they had the game on, and just people were fading away from the front of the show and watching the TV. It was insane. It was
Big Rec
so-
has new music. Should listen to it.
Big Rec's awesome.
Big Rec's awesome.
Yeah. 100%.
I'm just waiting for Waylon.
My buddy
Wolf's
Murph
new
told me
music.
about the new Big Rec music. It's really good.
Firstly, thank you to everyone for joining us on the Hangout today with our tech issues and us only having one mic. We greatly appreciate it.
Campfire edition.
We need to get this. I need to get this sorted out for tomorrow because this is our Hangout stuff, and if it's not working, I don't know how I'm going to do the Hangout tomorrow. This is fascinating. But thank you to Odell Willis for stopping by. Thanks, Dean, for coming in, and Jay for coming out to Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. This is where we're going to be for every Elks game, home and away, pregame, postgame. On EdmontonSportsTalk.com, Jay and I will be here for kickoff and post-game shows. Some of the home games, we might head down to the stadium as well. But away games especially, come down, watch the football game with us. They got all these walls of TVs, which you could kind of see on the YouTube channel. Bunch of TVs here that we'll be able to watch. We'll be able to listen to Dusty calling a lot of those games as well. Reminder, Riverhawks coming up later tonight on EST.
Maybe.
Thank you. The Edmonton Oilers. Game 1 will be Saturday, which means 4:30. GCL
breaking
pregame
news,
show.
breaking news, breaking
Elks
news.
starting at 2 o'clock that day, so we'll be on at 1 o'clock. What do you have to do? Because we got to then send it to Lock Shop.
Breaking news. Tommy will be on location. Game 1 at West Edmonton Mall, Bourbon Street.
Bourbon Street.
Game 2 on the Monday will be White Ave. So games 1 and 2, EST will be live at the GCL Diesel. Oil pre and post game will be live on location at Bourbon Street. And then White Ave.
Saturday, come out to Century in the afternoon, hang out with Jay and I, go to Bourbon Street, and
Bourbon
go
Street.
hang out with Tommy, and then Monday, go hang out on White. On behalf of Odell, Jay, Dean, I'm Matt. Thanks for tuning in to the EST Hangout. Lock Shop coming up next right here on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Don't go anywhere.
Let's go. There you go, right in front of the camera.
First-time guest, long-time listener, fan of the original draft commissioner.
Welcome to the EST Hangout presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer. The difference is clear. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Zola with here. Joining us today,